Once upon a time, there was a girl named Rapunzel who lived in a small town. She had long blonde hair and a beautiful smile.
Good morning. It's a beautiful day, isn't it?
Good morning, Rapunzel.
While taking a morning stroll, Rapunzel heard one of her neighbors crying. She immediately went to see what was wrong.
What's wrong? Why are you crying?
Ah, Rapunzel, just take a look at this.
Oh. Your chickens, where are they?
They're gone. Last night, I fed and petted each one of them. Today, they're gone.
Are you sure you locked the coop? Maybe you forgot to lock it.
Rapunzel's neighbor extended her hand and showed her the broken padlock.
Who could have done this?
I wish I knew.
Come on then, let's go to the police.
Together they went to the police station. On the way, Rapunzel was trying to console her neighbor. Rapunzel noticed the shop that had just opened a few days back. The shop sold fresh eggs daily. She had never met the shop owner. At that moment, she got a glimpse of Evilia and assumed she was the owner.
Good luck with your new shop, dear neighbor.
Evilia saw Rapunzel and responded with a fake smile.
Good morning. Where are you rushing to?
My neighbor's chickens were stolen. Those chickens were her livelihood. We're going to the police.
Oh dear, what a pity.
Let us know if you see them, okay?
Of course. Don't you worry.
Rapunzel thanked her and continued on her way. Evilia grinned wickedly, as she always did. When they arrived at the police station, they requested to speak to one of the detectives.
Hello, Rapunzel. What brings you here?
My neighbor's chickens got stolen.
I see.
I would send eggs to my grandchildren and sell the rest in the market. What am I going to do now?
Many people filed similar complaints today, so a lot of our officers were dispatched to the locations. You'll have to wait.
For how long?
I can't say for sure.
But we have to catch the thief and get the chickens back.
I'm sorry, but there's nothing I can do right now.
What am I going to do?
Rapunzel realized that she had to take the matter into her own hands.
Don't worry, I'll help you. This looks perfect. I need to find that thief quickly.
Rapunzel began her investigation and hoped to find anything that would lead her to find the thief.
Find anything, child?
No. But wait a second.
Rapunzel found an earring on the ground. She took it in order to examine it closely.
The thief must have dropped this. At least we now know we're dealing with a woman.
What are you going to do?
I'm going to find out whom this earring belongs to, but I need to find more clues.
But there must be many women in town who have the same earring. How are you going to find it, Sonar?
True, there might be many, but there has to be a second one to it. Whomever has one earring missing, most likely it's the thief we're looking for.
Rapunzel started going into various shops in town. While doing so, she also took a closer look at the customers' ears. She was hoping to find the missing pair. Rapunzel kept looking for the second earring till evening, but her efforts were in vain. Her poor neighbor started crying once again.
Don't worry. We'll find your chickens and the thief too. We just need some more time.
It got dark then, so they went back home. That night, Rapunzel couldn't sleep, pondering how to solve this mystery. She reflected back on the shops she'd been in, thinking whether she'd skipped any. In the morning, as Rapunzel washed her face, she realized that she hadn't been to Evilia's newly opened store. She put some clothes on, had breakfast quickly, and left home for Evilia's shop. Evilia was surprised to see Rapunzel come into her shop so early in the morning.
What brings you here? Your neighbor's chickens don't lay eggs anymore?
As I told you yesterday, somebody stole my neighbor's chickens. Besides, hers are not the only ones. Somebody's been stealing chickens all across town. We couldn't find anything.
Oh dear. So that means everybody has to buy eggs and chickens from me.
Rapunzel noticed an earring in Evilia's ear. It was the exact same one she had found the day before. Discreetly, Rapunzel peeked at Evilia's other ear. She was missing a second earring.
What a beautiful earring.
Thank you. I spent so much money on them.
Them? But you only have one earring.
I only wear one. Yes, that's it. That's the new fashion trend. Wearing only one earring. Not that you'd actually know much about fashion.
Rapunzel left the shop without raising suspicion. She found it odd that Evilia had opened an egg shop just when there was a chicken thief on the loose. There must be a connection, Rapunzel thought. She immediately hid in the corner of the street and waited for Evilia to close her shop. As soon as it got dark, Evilia closed her shop and looked around to make sure no one was watching. Once she saw no one was on the street, she hurried, walking quickly. Rapunzel followed her. She moved stealthily in the shadows. Rapunzel got a chance to send a text message to the detective, explaining the situation. Evilia walked for a long time and arrived at some desolate place. Rapunzel was still on her tail. Evilia stood in front of an abandoned farmhouse and looked around. Then, she opened the door and disappeared inside. Rapunzel worked up the courage and went inside through the door. It was dark and quiet inside. Rapunzel was scared at first, but when she thought of her neighbor, she took control and followed the sound of Evilia's footsteps. A little later, Rapunzel heard clucking sounds. She realized she had been right to suspect Evilia. She looked through a small window and saw all the chickens reported missing. Evilia was feeding them and collecting their eggs.
Now I've got you.
Rapunzel stopped in her tracks. She would need proof to accuse Evilia, so she decided to film everything. Then, she decided it was time to catch Evilia red-handed.
So you're the chicken thief.
Evilia was startled to see Rapunzel, that her face turned all shades of white.
Where did you come from?
You've put these poor people through ringer. You're going to pay for this.
Ha ha ha! Are you going to make me pay? You thought you could scare me with that detective look of yours? Don't make me laugh.
That's when the sirens of police cars were heard.
You damn little witch! I'll make you pay for this!
You cannot run, Evilia.
Evilia started to run away. Rapunzel knew that she had to think of something fast.
You can never catch me, Rapunzel!
Meanwhile, the detective and the other officers couldn't help themselves but laugh at Evilia.
I'll make you pay, Rapunzel! You're going to pay for this!
The police officers apprehended Evilia. Townspeople who arrived at the scene due to noise saw everything.
Rapunzel, you did a great job. You are a hero.
I only helped my neighbor.
We all have our chickens back thanks to you. I can send my grandchildren eggs again.
And what will happen to Evilia?
She's going to spend the night in custody. Tomorrow she'll be trialed fairly and punished accordingly.
Then I'm done with her.
Let's not think about this now. We should celebrate.
To celebrate, the townspeople made a huge omelette with the eggs they collected from chickens. The omelette was so huge that they even invited people from the neighboring towns. That night, Rapunzel slept soundly, knowing she had helped many people. Once upon a time, there lived a girl named Rapunzel. Who had long blonde hair and a beautiful smile. She lived in a small town, and everyone that met her grew fond of her. She was a hairdresser, and her salon was always crowded with clients as a result of her kindness and good manners. Every morning, as usual, she would leave home to go to her hair salon.
Good morning. It's a beautiful day, isn't it?
Good morning, Rapunzel.
What a cute little kid you are.
When she arrived at her shop, there was a queue outside. Where have you been, Rapunzel?
I'll be late for work. Come on, open your shop.
Okay, don't worry. I'll take care of everyone immediately.
However, there was another hair salon across Rapunzel's. The owner of this shop was a wicked, jealous woman named Evilia. She had had to move out of every town she'd been in because she was not a skilled hairdresser, and she didn't treat her clients nicely. She watched Rapunzel's every move with envious eyes. Evilia wanted to meet Rapunzel so she could befriend her. That way she could get to know Rapunzel better and discover her weaknesses. Evilia wanted to get rid of her so she could become the only hairdresser in town. She waited until Rapunzel's clients were gone.
Hello, neighbor.
Hello.
I've just moved in. I hope you're not upset that I opened a hair salon across from yours.
I'm so happy you did. There are so many clients in this town that we'll have enough for both of us. Besides, competition is good. It encourages people to do a better job.
I see. I'm a fierce competitor. You can be sure of that.
Awesome.
So, tell me, why did you become a hairdresser?
I've been to many places and made a lot of friends, but that's not enough for me. I want to make myself useful and help people. I enjoy enhancing people's beauty.
So, you're a friendly hairdresser.
Yes, I am. What about you? Why are you a hairdresser?
I only do it for the money. I don't care about anything else.
That's strange, but anyhow, I hope you find what you're looking for here. Good luck with your new hair salon, neighbor.
Days passed by. While Rapunzel went on with her life, Evilia was failing miserably at her job, and clients were leaving her shop unhappily. Evilia finally realized that she was not good at this job, so she plotted an evil plan.
I think I figured it out. I know what I'll do to you, Rapunzel.
In the evening, after Rapunzel had closed her shop, Evilia sneaked in Rapunzel's hair salon. She wanted to teach Rapunzel a lesson she wouldn't forget. She emptied the shampoo bottles and filled them with glue. She knew that her customers would never visit Rapunzel's salon once they saw they had sticky hair.
Nobody can compete with Evilia, you snooty blondie. Tomorrow will be the end of your dreams.
The next morning, Rapunzel happily opened her shop as usual. She had brought along her dog Hazelnut. Rapunzel immediately started cleaning up the place. While Rapunzel swept the floors and dusted the furniture, Hazelnut was prancing around excitedly. While Rapunzel was wiping the hair washing sink, Hazelnut knocked over one of the shampoo bottles near the sink. Poor Hazelnut got stuck in place because of the spilled glue. Rapunzel immediately helped Hazelnut get out of that sticky situation. She wondered who could have done such a terrible thing. If it hadn't been for poor Hazelnut, she would have poured the glue in her customer's hair. In the meantime, Evilia awaited anxiously to hear about Rapunzel's mishap. With a sinister smile on her face, she waited and waited.
Let's see what you'll do when your customer's hair gets all sticky.
Hours later, Evilia saw how Rapunzel's customers were leaving with a big smile on their face. The wicked grin on Evilia's lips began to fade away.
How could this be? How did this little blonde witch manage to get away from my trap?
Rapunzel was a very smart girl and had remembered Evilia's comment about being competitive, so she pretended to drop one of the bottles that Evilia had filled with glue and went back inside. Evilia wanted to understand what had gone wrong, so she washed her hair with the glue thinking it was shampoo. Her hands got stuck to her hair. She was furious when she realized she had been tricked.
You're going to pay for this, Rapunzel! I'll make you pay!
The next evening, Rapunzel locked up her shop happily satisfied, knowing she had done a great job. On her way home, a shadow prowled behind the trees. It was none other than Evilia.
I'm going to make you pay for this!
Evilia then went back to get a jerry can and poured gasoline around Rapunzel's shop. She lit a match and set the place ablaze. With a malevolent smile on her face, Evilia stood in front of her own shop as she watched Rapunzel's salon burn down. But Evilia hadn't realized that when she set Rapunzel's shop ablaze, her hair had accidentally caught fire. Flames engulfed Evilia's shop too. 2 hair salons were on fire. It was too late to do anything. The next morning, when Rapunzel arrived to her salon, she only found ashes. She fell to her knees in anguish and started crying.
What am I going to do now? I spent so much time and money on my place.
The townspeople surrounded Rapunzel. They were all sad for her.
We have to help her.
What can we do?
I can give her a year's rent.
I can do all the woodwork.
And I can donate the supplies and equipment she needs.
I can paint inside the shop.
When Rapunzel heard all this, she was so happy that this time she cried tears of joy.
Come on then, let's get to work.
All the townspeople got to work and built a brand new hair salon for Rapunzel. It was even better than the former one.
I don't know how to thank you all.
You can repay us by continuing to be good. We don't need anything else.
And what happened to Evilia? She was ashamed and couldn't bear to stay there, so once again she skipped town. Once upon a time there lived a girl named Rapunzel, who had long blonde hair and a beautiful smile. She would open the shop which she worked early every morning, clean the place up, and bake fresh pastries and cakes. The pastry shop belonged to a woman named Evilia. However, she was very rude and unkind. She would admonish Rapunzel any chance she got. Besides, this was the only pastry shop in town where she could work.
Good morning.
Can't you greet and work at the same time? If you can't complete those orders, you'll be in big trouble, Missy.
But I started working as soon as I opened the shop. Perhaps you're taking too many orders.
Would you look at that little brat? Are you complaining about your work? If those orders are not ready by evening, I'll cut half of your salary.
Rapunzel's eyes welled up with tears. Since her salary was already meager, she was disheartened.
If you could help me just a little, all orders can be ready on time.
Who? Me? With this hair and nails? Don't be ridiculous. If you can't handle this job, I can find someone who won't nag.
Rapunzel kept her head down and continued working. The only reason the townspeople would come to Evilia's shop was because they loved Rapunzel. Rapunzel's biggest dream was to open her own pastry shop.
That's much better. Now I'm going out with my friends. When I get back, I expect everything to be ready.
Yes, ma'am.
Evilia exited the shop with laughter. That day, Rapunzel did everything. She didn't even eat the whole day. She was so exhausted that she fell asleep in a chair. Rapunzel dreamed about her grandmother who lived far away. She had taught her how to bake cakes. She was so happy to see her.
My beautiful child, my kind, hard-working and talented child.
Grandma! Granny!
It's been a long time, hasn't it, dear?
Yes, it's been a long time. I work so hard and Evilia never gives me a day off. That's why I haven't visited you. I miss you so much.
Oh, my dear child, my heart breaks for you. But don't worry, everything's going to be okay.
This is just a dream, and when I wake up, you won't be here with me. I'll be lonely again.
Tomorrow, go to the neighboring town earliest. Look at the bulletin board in the town hall.
And then?
We'll speak later again.
Grandma kissed Rapunzel on the forehead and vanished into a pink cloud. As soon as she disappeared, Rapunzel opened her eyes to find an angry Evilia staring down at her.
You're sleeping in my shop? Am I paying you for this?
But I...
Quiet! Speak no more. I'm cutting half of your salary. I hope you learn to stay awake on the job.
Rapunzel tried to explain herself, but she couldn't. Something told her to follow her grandmother's advice. But how? She had to come up with an excuse so she could go to the next town. Rapunzel decided to go to the cafe where Evilia was. When Evilia saw Rapunzel, she was extremely surprised yet puzzled.
What are you doing here, bratty girl? Why aren't you at the shop?
Is this the poor soul you were talking about?
Don't even ask, dear. She's such a troublemaker. If my shop closes down one day, it'll be her fault. What do you want?
I've run out of ingredients. I need to get some.
Don't you see I'm with my friends right now? You dare disturb me for this?
I can't bake any of the orders.
Can't it wait until afternoon, silly?
I can buy them.
You can't even find the way home.
Then I'll just sit around.
Evilia hesitated and reconsidered. She didn't want to leave her friends. She worried that they would make fun of her.
All right then, but make sure you're back before noon. If I find out that you've been slacking, I'll cut the rest of your salary.
Don't worry, ma'am. I'll be back on time.
Rapunzel left immediately. Excitedly, she checked the bulletin board in front of the town hall, just like her grandmother had told her in the dream. She was surprised to only find one announcement on the board. It said, "Bake your best cake and win the grand prize."
So that's it.
Rapunzel took a picture of the announcement with her cell phone and returned to the pastry shop right away. While trying to finish the orders, Rapunzel pondered on how to enter the contest. The cake had to taste really good and be extraordinarily decorated. But how? That only meant going to bed late at night. But Rapunzel was determined because she wanted to win the grand prize so she could open her own pastry shop. Just then, Evilia rushed into the shop. She looked happy.
The time has come to show my skills. What? Jealous?
Me? No, not at all. I hope you win. Good luck.
I know what you're thinking, brat. You'd also like to enter the contest, right? Only the best can participate.
Rapunzel wanted to put an end to Evilia's abuse. Entering the contest might be her only chance to do so. Rapunzel went home late at night and started designing her cake. She had decided to enter the contest under a pen name.
Yes! I've got it! Pink Cream Pastry Shop.
As soon as she fell asleep, her grandmother appeared before her.
Well done, my dear. There's nothing you can't accomplish if you work hard and believe in yourself.
But Grandma, Evilia is participating in the contest too.
You think she's better than you?
Isn't she?
Of course not. When did you last see her baking cakes?
Rapunzel then realized that ever since she started working for Evilia, she never once saw Evilia baking cakes.
You're right, Granny. I see what you mean now.
Well done, my beautiful princess. Now, put your creativity and talent together and see what comes out of it.
When Rapunzel woke up, she knew what to do now. Because her grandmother had always called her princess, Rapunzel decided to make a princess-themed cake. Next morning, she found Evilia designing the cake for the contest. Since Evilia hadn't baked cakes in a while, her skills were rusty. Things were not looking good for Evilia.
It's turning out beautifully. No one could bake something like this in a lifetime. I'd show you, but I'm afraid you could jinx it.
Once Evilia had left, Rapunzel gathered all her ingredients and went home. As soon as she got home, she started working on her cake. But if she wanted her dream to come true, she had to make an effort. Rapunzel finished her cake at sunrise. She stood from afar and took a last look at her cake. It was perfect. She took her cake and went to the neighboring town. She waited, hiding in a corner. Shortly after, Evilia arrived carrying her cake. She pushed the other contestants that were in line and made her way to the front of the line and checked in.
Make way! The champion has arrived!
And finally the contest began and the judges appeared near the long table. The judges stood next to each cake. Some cakes caused them to grimace and some cakes made them smile. A couple of hours later, the judges gathered to make a decision. Everybody was waiting anxiously. Each contestant thought the best cake was theirs and boasted about their baking skills. Except Rapunzel, who waited silently in a corner, afraid of being seen by Evilia. First, they announced the third place. Rapunzel's heart was pounding. Later, they announced the second place.
It's my turn now. They're going to say, Evilia's fluffy pastry shop. Listen closely.
And the winner is...
Everybody held their breath. Evilia had a big smile on her face, confident she would win.
Pink Cream Pastry Shop and Cake House.
Evilia had been so sure of her victory. She completely ignored Rapunzel's pen name being announced. She had already started walking toward the stage, but when she got there, she heard people giggling and laughing. When she ran into Rapunzel on stage, she realized what had happened.
It's you! This is not possible! You've made a big mistake! I deserve the first place!
No! Rapunzel deserved this prize!
Evilia was enraged because she was humiliated.
You're fired! You hear me, Rapunzel?
No, Evilia, you're not firing me. I'm quitting.
As Evilia stormed off, Rapunzel shook hands with those who congratulated her. Rapunzel was welcomed in the town like a hero. She used part of the prize money to open her own pastry shop. And with the other half, she helped those in need. Finally, Rapunzel's dream had come true. Once upon a time, there was a girl named Rapunzel who lived in a small town. She had long blonde hair and a beautiful smile. Everyone that met her grew fond of her. Rapunzel was also a great actress. She would perform at local plays in town with her friend Evilia. Rapunzel was very talented and creative, so she became the town's favorite. Evilia was jealous, but she didn't show it. On a beautiful summer evening, the town square was teeming with people who came to watch Rapunzel on stage. Rapunzel was not only good at her role, but was also enthralling. Everyone listened to her attentively. That night, a very famous movie director was present among the spectators. He had heard about Rapunzel's talent, so he came to watch her. At the end of the play, the director went backstage. Evilia immediately recognized him, so she intercepted him.
Good evening. What is a famous movie director like you doing in our town?
I want to congratulate Rapunzel for her great performance.
No need. She's just a plain actress pretending to act. If you're looking for a real actress, well, she's standing right before you.
One must be blind not to see how good of an actress Rapunzel is. I'm going to offer her a role in my new movie. Now, if you'll excuse me.
Evilia was green with envy. She thought she was a better actress than Rapunzel, but the proof was in the people's reaction, which exasperated her.
Congratulations, Rapunzel! You were sensational. I didn't want you to be nervous during your performance.
I'm honored that you wanted to see me perform.
I'm directing a new movie. Would you like to be in it?
Rapunzel nearly fainted when she heard this proposal.
Wow, that's great news.
We are proud of you, Rapunzel.
You'll put our little town on the map when you perform in that movie.
While you're away, Evilia can perform your plays.
Rapunzel accepted the director's offer. Many people were proud of her when she rehearsed her role before going into the city for the shooting. Except for one.
I'll do anything to prevent you from appearing on that movie, Rapunzel.
The day of parting arrived.
I'm going to miss you all. I wish Evilia was here so I could say goodbye to her too. Where is she anyway?
At that moment, Evilia was up to no good as usual. They waited and waited. But the shuttle didn't show up. Rapunzel got anxious.
If the shuttle doesn't show up on time, I'll miss the flight.
It was then when they heard the running engine. The shuttle had finally arrived.
I'm sorry for the delay. There were nails all over the road and I had to change 4 flat tires.
Can we make it to the airport on time?
Don't you worry. If I have to, I'll even make the plane wait for our star.
Rapunzel got on the shuttle and they drove at lightning speed. Rapunzel barely made it to her flight for Hollywood. On the plane, she studied the script for her role. Finally, Rapunzel arrived in Hollywood. She was amazed with luxurious shops on Rodeo Drive, beautiful mansions in Beverly Hills, expensive cars zooming by, and the famous TCL Chinese Theatre on the historic Hollywood Walk of Fame, where famous actors have their names imprinted in stars.
Rapunzel, you made it!
I nearly missed the flight, but here I am.
We've got a lot to do. We should start at once.
Rapunzel and the director worked long hours. They would start early in the morning and work late into the night. Days passed. Rapunzel gained admiration and respect thanks to her discipline, talent, and love for acting. But she missed her town and her friends. They wrapped up filming, and months later the movie was well received. Rapunzel had suddenly become a world-renowned movie star.
I missed my town so much. Let me go for a few days.
I understand, Rapunzel, but it's not possible. Everybody's eager to meet you. You've received several movie offers. We've got so much work to do.
I miss home. I miss everyone.
After we've produced a few more movies.
Meanwhile in town, Evilia wasn't interested in theatre any longer. The theatre building was in a very poor condition. Rapunzel took emails to update her on the latest events about hometown. She was saddened by this news. One day, a man came into town. He saw the run-down theatre building. He realized he could use some of these parts for a good price.
Hello. Do you know the owner of that building?
It's public property, but Rapunzel is in charge.
The famous movie star, Rapunzel?
The one and only.
Is she here?
No, but Evilia is in charge when Rapunzel's away.
Where can I find her?
You can find her in the cafe, just ahead. She plays cards with her friends and chatters all day.
Excitedly, the junk dealer went to the cafe.
Excuse me, I'm looking for Evilia.
I'm Evilia. What do you want?
I want to buy that theater building. I can pay you a good amount of money.
A good amount of money?
All you need to do is say yes. I'll handle the rest.
I say yes then.
The next day, the junk dealer began dismantling the stage. The townspeople couldn't believe their eyes and approached the junk dealer. Why are you dismantling out stage?
Stage? You call this wreck a stage?
Wreck or not, you're demolishing public property. Who gave you this right?
I bought this place from Evilia. Go talk to her.
The town council members went to Evilia immediately. Evilia was gossiping with her friends, laughing and having fun as always.
Evilia, what's the meaning of this? Who said you can sell public property? Who gave you the right?
I think you've forgotten. Rapunzel left me in charge when she left.
She only left you in charge of the performances. You destroyed our theater. Call that man at once and call this off.
Sorry, Mayor. There's no turning back now. He paid a lot of money, and with that money, I'm going to build a shopping mall in town. Everybody's going to be happy. You'll thank me later for this.
The mayor convened the townspeople to inform them of the situation. The mayor called Rapunzel and told her about the situation. She didn't want to let her friends down. She pondered the matter and decided to speak with the director.
My friends need me. I have to leave.
I thought we had sorted this out, Rapunzel.
Yes, but this is an emergency and I need to go.
You're just going to throw away fame and fortune to go back to that musty town?
That musty town is my home.
Your home now is the movie set. You can't just quit.
So that's how it is.
Meanwhile, the junk dealer brought a crane with a wrecking ball and bulldozers to demolish the theatre building.
We should stop the demolition at all costs.
How?
I think I know how.
All the townspeople held hands and formed a circle around the theatre building. Evilia and the junk dealer were surprised.
What are you doing? No point in resisting. Just let us do our jobs.
Never!
This town is going to have a great shopping mall. Don't be so stubborn.
We want the theater building, not a shopping mall. We won't step aside.
At that point, a limousine pulled up in front of the theatre building. Golden hair swept the ground. Then, Rapunzel got out of the limousine. She was more radiant than ever. She swung the briefcase and hurled it at the junk dealer.
I'm giving you twice the amount you'll earn from here. Take it and leave.
When the junk dealer saw the money, his eyes nearly popped out of their sockets. He took the briefcase and left. Evilia just watched the junk dealer disappear in the distance. The whole town welcomed Rapunzel with open arms. With the money she had earned, she had the theatre building and the stage rebuilt. She also helped those in need. She never returned to Hollywood, and she only performed for plays in her beloved town. Once upon a time, there was a girl named Rapunzel who lived in a seaside town. She had long blonde hair and a beautiful smile.
Good morning.
Good morning, Rapunzel.
Rapunzel loved making videos about the places she visited. Her classmates and teachers also enjoyed Rapunzel's videos and encouraged her to make more. I think you should make more time for this, Rapunzel.
Yes, your videos are great. More people should see them.
You're exaggerating. Why would anyone watch my videos?
I beg to differ. There are a lot of silly videos on the internet. Yours, on the other hand, contain beautiful imagery and useful information. You read a lot. You must make good use of that talent.
At last, Rapunzel gave it some serious thought. Who knows? If her videos have high viewership, maybe she could become a famous YouTuber one day.
All right, but I don't know what to do.
Don't worry. Come over to my house tomorrow after school. We'll figure something out.
Rapunzel walked away happily while her friends watched in admiration. Except for one, Evilia. Evilia was jealous of Rapunzel and saw her as a rival in almost everything she did. She wanted to be the most popular person in the school. But as much as she tried, Rapunzel always surpassed her in her popularity, which drove Evilia crazy. Rapunzel dreamed all night about what she would do if she became a YouTuber. In the morning, she rushed out without even having a breakfast.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, Rapunzel. Welcome. Come in. I did some research. Let me tell you, this task is not easy.
I've thought of many things to do, ma'am.
Ta-da!
But, ma'am?
This is my gift to you.
But,
Meanwhile, Evilia was eavesdropping on them next to the living room open window.
How touching! I don't know what they see in that girl. I'm way more intelligent and talented. I also have my own money to buy a camera.
Why don't you shoot amazing videos that will impress people? You have what it takes.
Ha! I'm going to show them who's got what it takes.
Before I forget, you'll also need a microphone and a computer program to edit the videos. I've got them all arranged for you.
Rapunzel hugged her teacher and left bursting with happiness. She wanted to introduce her town in the first video. After some planning, she went out to shoot the most beautiful sights across town and interviewed some of the townspeople. Even the mayor took some time off to be interviewed by Rapunzel. She created a YouTube channel and uploaded her video there. Rapunzel was so excited that she was checking her phone every 10 minutes for the status on viewers and comments. The first night was a big disappointment. The next morning she woke up to the same situation. She was a little down. She went to her teacher immediately.
Where did I go wrong?
You did nothing wrong, my child.
Then why am I not getting hits or comments?
Patience. You have to continue making videos so people will get to know you.
Rapunzel took her teacher's advice and got to work. She would make a video per day and upload them to her YouTube channel. She had no difficulties since she had them all planned out in detail. Jealous Evilia was not sitting idly at that time either. She also created her own YouTube channel and started making videos. One morning, Rapunzel woke up. On the way, she checked her YouTube channel and was surprised to see thousands of views. Hundreds of people had subscribed to her channel and left hundreds of positive comments. Just then, a friend of hers came running towards her. Guess what happened last night while you slept?
Something certainly happened.
A social media influencer who has millions of followers watched one of your videos and recommended it to his followers.
Our teacher was right all along.
When she arrived at school, everyone congratulated Rapunzel. Except for one, Evilia. She was pacing up and down, filled with envy, taking her anger out on everyone she came across. Meanwhile, Rapunzel and her friends were busy reading the comments.
See this? I loved your town. Gonna visit this summer.
And someone from abroad wrote the same thing too. They'll come to our town for vacation from thousands of miles away. The comments made Rapunzel very happy. She felt great about her accomplishment. Rapunzel hugged her teacher happily.
The mayor wants to see you. He wants to give you a small prize for your contribution to our town's recognition.
Dear Rapunzel introduced our small town to the world and helped it become a touristic attraction. I thank her in the name of our town.
I've gotta stop her. If I can't be as good of a YouTuber as she is, then I can prevent her.
Evilia plotted something devious. She wanted to put it into effect as soon as possible and take the wind out of Rapunzel's sails. Evilia waited till midnight. After everybody went to sleep, she stealthily approached Rapunzel's house. First, she had a quick look around. She stood in front of Rapunzel's bedroom window. After making sure there was no one around, she pushed the already ajar window open. Rapunzel was sleeping soundly. Evilia sneaked in and took Rapunzel's camera, microphone, and computer in an attempt to destroy them, thus hindering Rapunzel's video making. Just as she was about to get out, Evilia tripped over Rapunzel's hair and fell on the ground. Rapunzel's dog Hazelnut woke up and jumped on Evilia and started licking her face. Just then, Rapunzel turned on the lights and was shocked to find Evilia there. Evilia ran away in shame. Her camera, microphone, and computer were all smashed when Evilia hit the floor. She felt so sad. The next day, Rapunzel shot a video of her broken equipment using her old cell phone and uploaded the video to her channel. Her followers, who saw her so sad, brought her brand new equipment. Evilia was ashamed and hid in her house for a long time. Rapunzel became even more famous with the videos she made, both in social media and YouTube.
There was a tradition in Princess Cinderella's country. School children visit the palace every year and are hosted by the royal family.
I want to host the children on this year's palace tour.
The prince accepted Cinderella's request. Cinderella shared the good news with her friend Pofu.
Pofu, I'm so excited! I will get to host the children in the palace!
That's wonderful! Can I join you?
Of course, Pofu! I couldn't do it without you!
But Sarah and her mother, Witch Rosa, did not take the news well. They're unhappy because they're jealous of Cinderella.
That peasant princess is always in the spotlight. Now she will host the children in the palace.
She will regret this. We'll embarrass her in front of the children.
How are we going to do that?
We'll do some pranks so the kids will tell everyone what a bad hostess she is.
The next day, the children came to the palace to visit.
What lovely flowers! Thank you! Here you go. I had these donuts made for you.
Hi, kids. I'm Pofu. Welcome to our palace.
According to the itinerary, the children will visit the museum of the palace first.
Children, in this museum, you will see valuable artifacts that are part of the palace's history.
Hey, do not enter that museum. There's a ghost in there.
This is Sarah. What is she talking about?
The rumour spread like wildfire, so the children were scared and didn't want to enter the museum.
Oh, there's a ghost!
Who made this up, kids? There is no such thing as ghosts. Don't believe this nonsense.
I'm sure Witch Rosa and her daughter had something to do with it.
Finally, Cinderella was able to convince the children, and they all entered the museum.
These are knight armors from ancient times. These are the paintings of our former kings.
Ghost! Run!
Wait, kids, calm down.
A ghost? Yeah, right. I know what happened.
Look at that ghost!
Sarah, it is not nice to frighten the children.
Incompetent pinhead!
What should I do? That sneaky rabbit stepped on my sheet.
After the museum, they were doing the second part of the tour.
We will now visit the Penguin Lake. It is the most beautiful part of the palace. You will love it.
The children seem to love Cinderella very much.
Stop whining! Wear it.
What is this?
A Halloween mask of the lake monster. And don't make a mistake this time.
Cinderella set out with the kids to go to the Penguin Lake.
I am sure you will like our lake very much.
Do not go to the lake. There's a monster there. The princess is putting you in danger. I am just saying.
When the children heard this, they refused to go to the lake. Cinderella talked to the children, and they understood.
There is no such thing as a lake monster, kids. She made it up.
The children trusted Cinderella, so they all went to the lakeshore.
Isn't it beautiful? Let's take a closer look at the penguins.
Lake monster! Lake monster, run!
But the lake monster was unaware of what awaited her.
Come on, lake monster. I was waiting for you.
Ah, what happened? Where's my mask?
Look at the monster!
Funny
Funny girl!
Sarah, you again.
Hi. I played a prank on you kids.
When the tour was over, Cinderella organised a tea party for the children. There were delicious cakes and cookies on the table.
Everything was specially prepared for you kids. I hope you like them.
I love it. Yummy.
Eat your pastries and drink your tea. Beautiful gifts are awaiting.
Hooray! Yay!
Of course, Witch Rosa was devising a wicked plan again.
I'll ruin the tea party. I'll show that foolish princess.
What's your plan here?
Come with me.
They went to a tree with a beehive on it.
What do you think will happen when you throw that beehive in the garden?
The bees will come out and fly towards the sweets. I can already see it.
Well done. Sometimes your mind does work.
Come on, Mother. Push the stick a little more.
I did. Here goes. Stop pulling.
But things did not go as Witch Rosa hoped.
What's going on? I'm gonna fall.
Bees! Let's run! Quick! Help! Help!
While Cinderella and the children were having fun, opening their gifts, they saw what was happening on the other side of the garden.
Oh, aren't those two Witch Rosa and her daughter? But why are the bees chasing them? God knows what mischief they were up to.
One day, the prince gifted a cute pony to his beloved wife, Cinderella.
Darling, you're too cute. Let your name be Berry.
Pofu, Cinderella's best friend, was also present.
Hello, Berry. I'm Pofu.
Berry was a champion pony. She had won many races, but earned her several prizes. The prince asked Cinderella if she would like to enter Berry in the royal pony race.
Yes, I would love to, but I've never ridden a pony.
Subsequently, the prince hired the country's best riding instructor, and Cinderella started her riding lessons.
Pofu, I really want Berry to win this cup.
You will succeed. I'm sure of that.
The evil witch Rosa and her daughter Sarah were enviously watching Cinderella's riding lessons.
Where did this royal pony race come from?
If she wins, her reputation in the palace will soar. We have to stop her.
But how? Ah, I think I've got it.
What did you get?
You will join the race too, and you'll make sure to win.
But I don't know how to ride, and I don't have a pony either.
If that silly girl can learn, so can you. I'll get you the best pony.
So the witch bought her daughter a black pony. Sarah also came to the track with her instructor.
Hello, Sarah. What a beautiful pony you have. Will you participate in the race too?
Yes, my dear, but I feel sorry for you because you don't stand a chance against me.
Ha ha ha! Let me laugh. Who does she think she is?
We'll see, dear Sarah. May the best rider win.
Sarah failed to get on her pony in the first lesson.
Stop moving, you ugly thing! Don't move! I can't get on! Ouch! You good-for-nothing pony!
This is what will happen to your lovely pony if you misbehave.
Days went by and Cinderella became a master rider after completing her training.
Bravo!
This girl is a fast learner. You can't even get on your pony yet.
But my pony is spoiled, Mother!
No, you are incompetent. There is no such thing as a spoiled pony.
Witch Rosa knew that Sarah could not win against Cinderella.
We have to do something for you to win.
Cinderella approached her pony.
We have a race tomorrow, Barry. That's why you need to eat less. Just that much, okay?
In the evening, Witch Rosa and Sarah stealthily went to Cinderella's stall where her pony was.
I still don't understand what these treats will do.
Get that brain working. Do you think that pony will be able to run tomorrow after eating so much oats?
Now I understand. She won't be able to walk.
Witch Rosa and Sarah left 2 buckets full of treats for Berry.
Come on, goofy pony. You're in luck tonight. You can eat them all.
Why isn't she eating?
Maybe she is afraid of us. Let's watch it over here.
Come on, eat, you pinhead pony. Help! Get this off my head!
The next day, final preparations were made for the race. Cinderella saw the spilled oats and the buckle with Sarah's hairpin stuck in it.
They gave oats to my pony so that she could not run. Well done, Barry. You're so smart. I know you didn't eat. See you at the race.
Be careful. We can expect anything from those two.
Cinderella and Pofu went to the stalls at the racetrack to look for the witch and her daughter.
Look, there they are. What are you doing?
Are you sure this is going to work?
Of course. When the pony starts running, the saddle will be slippery and Cinderella will fall off that silly pony.
I can just picture it. Very funny.
So she will be out of the race and you will win the Royal Cup.
What are we going to do, Pofu? We should stop them.
They're coming out. Follow them. Do not let them do another mischief.
What about you?
I'll take care of the problem here. Hey, excuse me. May I have a second, please? You put the wrong saddle on the princess's pony. This is for Sarah's pony. It was decided this morning.
The caretaker believed Pofu, so he fastened the greased saddle by the witch to Sarah's pony.
Here goes.
And so the race began. As Cinderella raced, the prince watched excitedly.
When will this girl fall off? Why isn't that stupid saddle coming off? I oiled it really well.
It's my turn now. What are we going to do?
I bought you the best pony. Get out there and win.
Sarah reluctantly got on her pony and rode to the racetrack.
Come on, run, you dumb pony. Jump off these obstacles. Help! I'm falling!
Oh no! Dang!
Cinderella won the race and was awarded the Royal Cup.
Once upon a time, in a small house there lived a young married couple. They were a very happy couple and were expecting a baby.
I know it's important for our baby to be healthy, but I do hope we have a daughter, my love.
Yes, I would love to have a daughter too. God willing, we'll have a daughter that will look like you.
The day of the birth was getting closer, and the young mother excitedly awaited the birth of her baby. Every day the mother would look out the window and over the high wall and admire her neighbour's garden filled with flowers and fruits. One day she noticed a yellow leaf plant that she had never seen before.
I wonder what the name of that plant is. It smells wonderful. I'm sure it tastes amazing too. I have to eat that plant. I will go straight to my neighbor and ask her.
Without wasting any time, the young mother left the house. But she had no idea that her next-door neighbor was a cruel witch. She knocked on the door, unaware of the danger that awaited her.
Ooh. Hello, neighbor. The yellow plant in your garden smells amazing. I'm pregnant and really craving for it. Is it an edible plant?
Of course. I can give you a little. It tastes incredible and it's really good for humans.
Then it'll be good for my baby too.
Of course, dear neighbor.
especially for expecting mothers. But remember, because it's so valuable, you may only take one.
Everything is going just as I planned. The young woman finished eating the piece she had taken as soon as she got home, but she wanted to eat more.
Bring me more. If I don't eat it, I can't have this baby.
Don't worry. I'll do everything I can to bring you more of that yellow plant.
As night fell and it got dark, the helpless husband climbed over the tall wall and took the plant that his wife wanted. This went on for some time. Every night, the young man secretly entered the garden, but he was uneasy about entering his neighbour's garden without permission. The bad witch had actually grown this plant to set up a trap to them. She knew that her neighbour was expecting a baby, and that she would definitely crave for this with its smell. She had her eye on the baby for a long time. She was going to take the baby one way or another. One evening, as the man entered the garden again, the witch caught him red-handed. She now had the appearance of a witch. She was very ugly and was extremely scary looking. The poor man was frightened.
Please forgive me. My wife is pregnant and she can't stop eating this plant. I was forced to do this because you said she could only take one. I know this is wrong, but if she doesn't eat it, I'm afraid that my wife will die. I'm in a very tough situation.
I'll accept your apology only with one condition. You must give me the baby that is to be born. If not, I'll destroy all of you. The man had to accept this condition. When the time of the birth arrived, a beautiful baby girl was born. The witch went to the house immediately. Her name shall be Rapunzel. You shall raise her until she turns 1. In exactly 1 year, I will come and take her from you. The helpless couple accepted. When Rapunzel turned 1, the witch came and took the crying baby away from her mother and father and locked up the baby in a tower in the middle of the forest. She was going to raise the baby there. Many years passed. Rapunzel was now a beautiful young girl. As she had never cut her hair, it was several meters long. Her hair was golden blonde. She had deep green eyes. Whenever the witch went to the tower, she would call out to her. "My dear blonde-haired girl, I'm here. Let your hair down." Rapunzel would throw her long braid down, and the witch would climb up to the tower using her hair. Rapunzel thought that the witch was her mother. As she had never seen anyone else other than the witch until now, Rapunzel thought that she and her mother were the only ones in this world. She had a wonderful voice. She sang all day long until nightfall. Her voice echoed across the forest, and all the birds would fly to the window to listen to her. Birds were her only friends. One day, a prince was wandering around the forest. When he heard Rapunzel singing, he wondered where this marvelous sound was coming from. As he followed the direction of the sound, he approached the tower and realized the voice was coming from there.
I must meet the girl with this amazing voice. I wonder how I can go up this tower.
As he desperately walked round and round the tower, he suddenly saw a witch calling to the top of the tower. He hid behind a tree at once and watched. "My dear blonde-haired girl, I'm here. Let your hair down." Rapunzel let down her braided hair, and the witch climbed up to the tower.
I found how to go up the tower.
Having waited for the witch to leave, the prince now called out to the tower, impersonating the voice of the witch.
"My girl, please let down your beautiful blonde hair again. I forgot something up there."
I'm letting it down right away, Mother.
With one swift move, she let down her hair again. The prince climbed up the tower using her hair and met Rapunzel. It was the first time in her life that the beautiful girl was seeing another person.
Ah! Who are you? Why are you here? Where is my mother?
There's no need to be afraid. I'm the prince of this country. Your wonderful voice brought me here. To come up here, I had to impersonate your mother's voice.
Rapunzel, who at first was very frightened, slowly realized that he wasn't a bad person. The prince was already charmed by her beauty. Days and months passed by. The prince was coming to the tower every day. When they spent time together, they didn't realize how fast the time passed. Then, he finally proposed to Rapunzel.
Rapunzel, I want to live with you for the rest of my life. Will you marry me?
Of course I'll marry you.
I must now return to the palace.
I will try and find a solution to get you out of here at once.
Rapunzel was very excited that she would finally see the outside world once she married the prince. She was so bored of living alone in the tower for all those years. He held Rapunzel's hair and headed down the tower. Unfortunately, the witch was there too and saw the prince. She immediately understood what was going on. She raged with anger. As Rapunzel was pulling her hair back up again, the witch held onto it and climbed up. She was so annoyed and furious.
What's going on? Who's that just left? I've been hiding you up here to protect you from evil, but you've been talking to strangers and making friends with them.
He's the prince of this country. He asked for my hand in marriage, and I accepted. I'm so happy, Mother. I was waiting for you to come and tell you all about it.
What? What nonsense is this? I'll show you.
The witch was so angry that with a pair of scissors she cut Rapunzel's long hair short as can be. And with her magic, she then sent her to a very faraway country. When the prince arrived at the tower the next day, he had no idea that the witch was waiting for him in the tower.
Hi, Rapunzel. I'm here. Let down your hair, please.
The witch let down the long braid that she had cut from Rapunzel's hair. When the prince reached the window of the tower, the witch was there to meet him. He was terrified the moment he saw her.
What a surprise, huh? You thought you were going to be able to take my girl away who I've hidden for years?
As the witch let go of the braid, the terrified prince found himself on the floor. He fell on top of the bushes, but since he hit his head, he was blinded. Rapunzel was ever present in the prince's mind. So mounted on his horse, he searched for her everywhere. He swore that even if he had to go to the end of the world, he would find her. He searched and searched and searched for a very long time. Finally, one day, he heard a song. The voice was familiar to him.
This is Rapunzel's voice. I've finally found her.
Galloping on his horse, he headed straight towards the sweet voice. He came to the door of the house Rapunzel was staying in.
Rapunzel, I'm here. Open the door.
I can't believe it. Is it really you?
As Rapunzel opened the door, she cried when she saw the prince. She cried so much that her tears fell on the prince's face as he was kneeling. Her tears were miraculous, joyful tears. Suddenly, the blind prince opened his eyes. They hugged each other joyfully and celebrated this miracle. The prince was finally able to propose officially. They returned to the palace and started preparing for the wedding. Upon their return, Rapunzel and the prince looked for her real parents so they could share their news. They were incredibly happy to be reunited with their daughter after all these years. They had a beautiful wedding and they all lived happily ever after. Once upon a time, in a faraway kingdom, there lived a beautiful queen and a handsome king. The queen was not only beautiful, but she was kind and generous. Her people loved her dearly. She always helped people and wanted her country to always be in abundance. The queen always longed to have a daughter. One day, as she sat embroidering by the window, she daydreamed of her future daughter. In a daze, she accidentally pricked her finger with her embroidery needle. The blood from her finger dripped onto the white fabric she was embroidering. At that very moment, a shooting star crossed the sky. The queen made a wish.
Dear God, please send me a daughter. Let her be so beautiful that everyone admires her. Let her have pink cheeks, black hair like mine, her lips as red as this drop of blood, her eyes as bright as diamonds, and her skin as white as this very cloth. She should always smell like the flowers in my garden. Let her teeth be as white as the pearls on my neck.
A short time after that, her wish came true, and she shared the good news with the king and announced that they were expecting a baby.
My queen, wish what you will from me. I'll get you the most wonderful gift.
My health is not as good as it used to be. What I ask of you is to protect our child from all evil. Please promise me that you'll protect her. There's nothing more I wish for.
When the time came, the queen gave birth to a very beautiful girl. Just as she had wished for, her daughter had black hair, red lips, bright eyes, skin as white as snow, and smelled like flowers. They named her Snow White because of the whiteness of her skin. Soon after, the queen's health deteriorated and she passed away. The young king was very sad. While he mourned his beloved wife, he also tried to raise Snow White as best he could. When Snow White turned 5, a big ball was organised at the palace. The king was celebrating his daughter's birthday and also choosing a new queen. At the ball, there was a beautiful woman who had magical powers. She used these powers to dance with the king and cast a spell on him and married the king and became the queen. Snow White's stepmother was a very beautiful woman, but she was also vain, cruel, and evil. From the day she arrived at the palace, she despised Snow White. She saw her as her rival. The queen also had a magic mirror. She always consulted the mirror about the future and would ask,
"Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all?"
My dear queen, it's you. You're the most beautiful woman in the world.
And so, time passed by. Snow White became a very beautiful young girl. Those who saw her could not look away. As she strolled in the palace gardens, the wind that brushed her hair would spread her flowery scent. Birds and butterflies would always follow her around. And her voice was so heavenly that when she sang, birds in the gardens would go silent and listen to her. One day, the queen asked her mirror,
"Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all?"
My queen, you are very beautiful, but the most beautiful girl is Snow White.
The jealous and cruel queen got so angry that she hurled the bottle in her hand at the magical mirror.
How is that possible? No one's more beautiful than me. Summon the princess at once.
Meanwhile, she had locked up the king in the palace dungeon and told everyone that he was away working for his people. She also summoned the palace hunter and gave him strict orders.
"I want you to kill Snow White and bring her heart to me as proof."
Snow White, who had no idea of her fate, came to see the evil queen.
Dear Snow White, you haven't been out for days. You must be bored inside the castle. I'd like you to bring me some strawberries from the forest. This way you'll be able to get some fresh air. You'll have a good time, don't worry. I'll send you my trustworthy hunter with you.
As the princess picked strawberries with the hunter, they got deep into the forest. The poor hunter was very sad.
How can I harm someone with such a good heart and such beauty? There must be another way.
The hunter couldn't bring himself to kill her. They sat under a tree and he told her about the queen's evil plan.
My princess, please go far away. If the queen finds out what I've done, she will kill both of us.
He immediately hunted an animal and brought its heart to the queen.
Aha!
The princess spent the night under that tree. She was so scared. At dawn, she went on her journey. After a long walk, she reached a small house and went inside. She looked around in amazement.
What is this place? Everything is so small and there's 7 of everything. 7 small chairs, 7 pairs of forks and spoons.
Since she was so hungry, she made soup with the ingredients she found in the house. She ate and went upstairs. And then she fell asleep in one of the small beds. At night, the house owners returning from the mine were actually the 7 dwarves. Their names were Doc, Dopey, Happy, Grumpy, Sneezy, Bashful, and Sleepy.
Hey, what's this? It smells like delicious soup.
No! It's like someone entered the house.
Come! Look! There's a girl sleeping here!
The commotion woke up Snow White. She was scared when she first saw them. She then told them everything that happened to her.
My name is Snow White. I don't mean any harm. I don't have a place to go. That's why I took shelter here. Please, let me stay.
Of course, Princess. We are not going to let you stay alone in the forest. Don't worry.
You are our first guest who makes such delicious soup.
Time passed by. Days and weeks. Snow White and the 7 dwarves were laughing, having fun together, and living a peaceful life. Meanwhile, the evil queen, not knowing that Snow White was still alive, asked the mirror again.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all?
My queen, you're beautiful, but Snow White, who lives with the 7 dwarves, is more beautiful.
Ah! How's this possible? The hunter must have lied to me. First, I will get rid of Snow White, and then I will teach the hunter a lesson.
She immediately worked on an evil plan. She poisoned an apple and disguised herself as an old woman to trick Snow White.
Hello? Anybody home? I'm so hungry and I ran out of food.
The 7 dwarves had warned Snow White to not open the door to anyone. But Snow White felt sorry for the old woman that came to her door, and so let her in without a doubt.
Please come in. Welcome.
Thanks, my child. I got so tired and hungry in the forest. Do you have something to eat?
Yes, of course. I have some soup.
After finishing her soup, the evil queen, disguised as the old woman, offered the poisoned apple to Snow White. The princess took a bite and fell on the floor, falling asleep. The old woman turned back into the evil queen and happily went back to her palace. When the 7 dwarfs who came back from the mine in the evening saw her laying on the floor, they thought that she had died and so were very sad.
We should make her eternal sleep comfortable. Let's make a nice bed for her.
A handsome prince who was walking through the forest heard the 7 dwarfs crying. He got curious and approached them.
Oh my, what's going on here?
He was very surprised when he looked to see who was laying in the crystal bed surrounded by flowers. She was the girl who had been in his dreams for days. The smell of her hair was still all over the forest.
Who is this beautiful girl?
Her name is Snow White. We haven't been able to wake her up.
They told the prince everything that had happened. The prince lifted the crystal cover to give a farewell kiss to the girl of his dreams. He kissed her on the cheek. At that moment, something unexpected happened. The spell broke and a miracle occurred. Snow White opened her eyes and got up in bed. The 7 dwarves and the prince were very happy.
You are the girl of my dreams, Snow White. This is the best day of my life. Will you marry me?
First, I need to find my father and tell him about everything that happened, and also get his blessing.
They went back to the palace and got the king out of the dungeon. The evil queen fled in fear. The prince and Snow White got married and lived happily ever after. Once upon a time, a long, long time ago, in a faraway land, there lived a king. This king had 12 daughters. All his daughters were incredibly beautiful. The king did not allow them to leave the palace. They were only allowed to walk around the palace gardens. While the king and his daughters carried on with their lives, one morning as his daughters sat at the table for breakfast, he noticed that their shoes were worn out. Although the king was very confused by this, he ordered his servants to buy new shoes for all his 12 daughters. Ever since that day, every morning at breakfast, the king noticed that his daughters' shoes were worn and dirty. The king couldn't put his finger on what was going on. Despite their doors being locked at night, the mystery of the worn-out shoes continued. To solve this, the king came up with a very clever plan.
Soldiers, spread the news across the country. Whoever solves this problem will marry one of my daughters and become king when I die. These young men only have 3 days to find out why my daughter's shoes are worn out every morning.
However, if they can't figure it out, they will be thrown in the dungeon.
The soldiers spread the news across the entire country. Many young men were turning up at the palace gates to solve this mystery. Yet, all of them were falling asleep outside the daughter's room and were being thrown into the dungeon. There was a kind, handsome young man who lived in a village near the palace. He had always liked the king's youngest daughter. The young man had no family except for his grandmother. So they lived together. One day, his grandmother came up with an idea.
Why don't you try your chance at solving this mystery? You always said that you liked the king's youngest daughter.
Until now, hundreds have gone to the palace to try their chance. None of them have succeeded. It will be impossible for me too. Plus, we're very poor. The king will never give his daughter in marriage to me. You must be mad, Grandma.
Nonsense. You do what I say. You will succeed. I'm giving you a magical cloak that belonged to your father.
Oh.
When you wear this, you will become invisible. And one more thing. Do not eat or drink anything from the palace. Good luck, my son.
Although the young man was incredibly amazed by the invisible cloak, he immediately set off to the palace to try his chance. The guards led him to the princess's rooms, just like the others who tried their chance before him. At night, the oldest daughter popped a sleeping pill into a glass of water, left the room, and handed the glass to the young man waiting by the door.
It's hot. You must be thirsty. Here, if you like, I can bring you another glass.
Thank you. Yes, I was incredibly thirsty.
The thirsty young man drank the water and slept all the way till morning. The next day, while waiting, another girl brought a glass of lemonade. Unable to resist, the young man drank this too. He went straight to the room assigned to him and snored the night away. When he woke in the morning, he said,
How stupid I am! How could I believe these girls? My grandma had warned me about not eating or drinking anything. Tonight is my last night. I must succeed.
He went in front of the door again. This time one of the girls wanted to trick him with juice. The young man pretended to drink the juice while the girl watched, but the minute she turned around and entered her room, he poured it into a plant pot. He pretended to sleep lying next to the plant and snoring.
Go and take a look. Has the boy outside fallen asleep?
One of the girls peeked through the door and checked the young man.
Can't you hear? He's snoring away. It's okay. We are free now.
At midnight, when the young man wore the cloak, he became invisible. He slowly entered the girls' room. The girls were wearing beautiful dresses. They had brushed their hair and were all made up. There was a large mirror in their room. They all stood in front of it. The oldest daughter touched the mirror and blew a kiss. The mirror immediately slid to the side and a door with stairs appeared, leading down to a chamber. The young man watched in shock as the girls, one by one, went down the stairs. Of course, he followed them right away. As he went down the stairs, he accidentally tripped on something, fell and held on tight to the skirt of one of the princesses in front of him.
Oh, what is that? Someone's pulling on my skirt.
There's no one here. You must be imagining things.
They went down hundreds of stairs. Finally, they arrived in a forest. The leaves in the forest were gold, the branches were silver, and the top of the trees were filled with diamonds. As the young man watched in awe, he also took one of each item to keep. He wanted evidence upon his return. They walked and walked down a very long path through the forest. At the end of the road, a lake appeared before them. There were exactly 12 boats waiting for the princesses. While each one of them climbed on the boats, Young oarsmen were helping them get in. Finally, the young man jumped into the last boat.
Gosh, this boat is a little heavier than usual today. It's like it's carrying 3 people. Have you gained weight, Princess?
What?
A palace decorated with magnificent lights appeared on the opposite shore of the lake. Music could be heard from everywhere. They all entered this palace and began to dance like crazy with their companions. All the glasses in the palace were made of crystal, and all cutlery made of silver. As the young man watched this fantastic event, he wanted to eat a piece of cake and drink some water. He wasn't noticed while he was eating a piece of cake from a golden plate, but was caught while drinking water from the crystal glass.
Oh wow, I can't believe it. Look there, the glass is levitating. It's like someone is drinking water.
Upon hearing these screams, the young man dropped the glass and it shattered into 1,000,000 pieces.
You're imagining things. We are really tired of dancing. You must have bumped into the glass. Come on, it's almost morning. Let's go back to the palace.
But...
It was time for the girls to return to the palace. The oldest daughter gathered all her sisters. They returned to the palace the same way they came in, with the young man following them at all times. The young man was thrilled to have solved the mystery of the shoes. He immediately appeared before the king.
Your Majesty, I respectfully salute you, Your Highness. I have solved the mystery of why your daughter's shoes are worn out after just one day. Every day, your daughters go to a magical forest, head to a palace, and dance the night away. This is why their shoes are worn out.
The king was shocked at this news and didn't want to believe what he heard.
Today was your last day. How could I know that you're not lying to me in order not to get thrown in the dungeon?
Sir, I have plenty of evidence. A silver tree branch, a gold leaf, a fruit made of diamonds, and a crystal glass.
The king was surprised at what he saw, but was also pleased that the mystery was finally solved. He followed the young man down the path, went to all the places they had been, and saw with his own eyes that the young man was telling the truth.
Yes, you were right. Tell me, which of my daughters do you want to marry?
Your Majesty, if she also accepts, I would like to marry your youngest daughter. And of course, if you see fit.
The young man and the young princess lived happily ever after. The young man also had his grandmother brought to the palace, since he owed her everything. Even though the other girls weren't so pleased with what had happened, they promised that they would never go anywhere again without permission.
Kondosan,